Don't forget mybag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? So yeah, having some issues this morning, but I can take care of it afterwards, so it's not a big deal. But it's kind of a big morning. One of the things that I wanted to speak about last night was something that I actually did not have a chance to get to. And that was the idea that the SEC is putting forward an idea that companies don't have to report their earnings quarterly. They can still report their earnings quarterly, but it won't be mandatory anymore. It'll be semi-annually. That ought to change things. Now, before you freak out and say that, hey, I want my quarterly earnings, I want to know what's going on, it will absolutely have a huge change on the market. By far, everybody knows it. But if you're looking for precedent, well, it happens in Europe. They don't have to file every quarter, semi-annually. So that's an issue or an opportunity, depending on how you look at it. Who is it more convenient for? Clearly, it is the companies, right? I have a couple of issues with it because companies have the ability to hide what they're doing for a longer period of time. So if we were to move to that kind of system, I would want to see certain safeguards in place that will make it so that everything must be reported. Like there's no loophole that they could carry over to the next half of the year to, report something that they didn't want to report too soon or something like that. And I also think that in the United States, our markets really aren't built for that kind of market trust. So that's a massive problem for me, right? So if you're going to be looking at allowing companies to report semi-annually, if you want your publicly traded company to report quarterly, you had better let them know with your vote. Which means another thing that will absolutely have a difference, which means most people do not vote their shares. Most people leave it to, one of those companies that gathers all the votes and votes on their behalf. How that company votes may not be in your best interest. It'll be how they decided to vote, and you agreed with it by letting them vote on your behalf. If you don't like this, you had better vote. Because it'll be put up to a vote for sure. Like, let's say it passes. There's no public outcry. It'll pass, and it'll let people do what they want to do. I don't think that's what you want. I don't think that would be a good idea. Right? Ooh, I forgot this morning's message, which is do not forget to invest in yourself today. It'd be nice if I knew how to spell yourself. There you go. So when I look at everything, I'm like, it would cause a massive change in the markets, how everything gets reported, what gets reported when. It would flip those loopholes. I'm pretty sure you've heard of these things where a company buys something or makes a move, but because of the timing that they did something, they don't have to report it this next quarter. They can report it the quarter thereafter. Yeah, we would have to make sure that loopholes like that are not allowed. Right? We would have to close each and every single one of those loopholes. Now, I get it. Having a quarterly close is time consuming. It's time consuming, and that's what your accounting people are doing all the time. They're preparing for monthly close, quarterly close. If they're a publicly traded company, you've got a lot to contend with. Truth be told, they're going to be doing that work anyway. I honestly think they'll be doing that work anyway. So what's the burden? And then my other question is going to be, if they're pulling so much in profits, again, what's the burden? Why do we need to report semi-annually. Like, I haven't seen the benefit yet. I need somebody to explain the benefit to me. And I don't mean the benefit to, I mean, I want to hear the benefit to the company, but I want to hear the benefit to the shareholders. Because the last time I checked, less reporting is not good. So you're going to have to explain to me that moving to a semi-annually reporting structure is going to be good for U.S. markets. Remember, the U.S. market is not the European market. We do not run our markets the same. To me, this is another way that businesses will be able to skirt around, telling their shareholders what they're doing, when they're doing it. And then with so many loopholes, I mean, the announcement from NVIDIA that, oh, we're going to move to a more transparent reporting structure. What? Why wasn't it transparent to begin with? See where I'm going with this? So yeah, I think the change wouldn't just be, oh, going from quarterly to semi, you just don't do that for that period of time. That's not the way that works. That is not the way that works. And I don't see how that's a great thing. I don't see it. Right? Now we in terms of market structure, I just want you to hear about something. Mike Wilson from Morgan Stanley forecasts U.S. equity correction near the end, citing 50% Russell 3000 stocks down 20% from 52-week highs due to AI labor concerns, private credit stress, and liquidity issues with potential triggers like Fed policy or options expiration. Goldman Sachs is saying, hey, you should be careful out there. Maybe you want to get out. Morgan Stanley is saying, hey, you should move into a defensive posture. And I believe, who's the other one? JP Morgan is saying, hey, get ready to buy the dip. 3 different perspectives on the market from 3 of the largest players in the space. What I'm going to say next is going to be nuts. That means nobody has a clue. Let me correct myself. Goldman Sachs, it's a bear market, risk, reduce cyclicals. Morgan Stanley, get your shopping list ready. And JP Morgan, buy the dip, add to positions. Add to positions. Yeah, it wasn't a big correction. I just said something slightly differently. 3 of the biggest houses. 3 totally different outcomes. If right, negative 15 to 20% by summer is what Goldman thinks. If Morgan Stanley is right, it's recovery. Don't miss it. And if JP Morgan's right, recovery, and then you'll be chasing all year. 3 of the biggest houses out there who are in complete disagreement. Complete disagreement. Nobody has the answer. That's what that says. Nobody has the answer. And if nobody has the answer, you should not feel bad if you don't have the answer. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. This is where that comes in handy. This is where the GMB 3 comes in handy. Nobody's going to have the answer. Nobody's going to be perfect in this play. You're going to have to make your own decisions. And at the end of the day, it's going to be on you. That's the tough part of investing. When you're moving so sideways and things are so volatile and you can be hit from any direction, you have no idea how to calculate that. Yeah, I'm not delivering good news. I'm really not delivering good news, and I apologize for that, but it is what it is. I'd rather be straight with you than, tell you everything's rosy. I'm not handing you a bowl of cherries, and I know it. I'm handing you some cherries, some rotten cherries, some ripe cherries, some overripe cherries, some pits. Yeah. It's your job to sift through them all and pick out what's good and what's bad for your risk framework. This is where your fortitude comes in. This is where your knowledge comes in. You know how I keep telling you guys, you must invest in order to survive? That first investment is in yourself, your own knowledge. And right now, I'm telling you that 3 of the smartest financial institutions out there are at odds over what's coming. All they do is review risk, review opportunities. They crunch those numbers all day, every day. And they are at odds. So us normies, yeah, we're going to be at odds. We're not going to know what to do. That's why I don't tell people what to do. I rarely even tell my kids what to do. They're all old enough. I tell them what's on my mind. With these videos, I'm sharing with them what's on my mind. And when they ask me, obviously, the same thing. But I don't tell them what to do unless I know for a fact that what they plan on doing is going to hurt them. It's daddy's job to make sure that doesn't happen, no matter what the situation. Other than that, you do you. I'm just sharing information. And right now, I'm telling my kids, I'd rather miss out than to suffer. That's what I'm telling my kids. I'd rather miss out on potential upside than suffer because of realized downside. And then I weigh the risks. You guys always wonder, like I keep talking about it all the time. I keep saying, hey, look, listen, there is a, there is a list of risks that I keep. Both up here, that's, it's a shorter list that's up here, but I have a written list that tells me these are the risks that we have. These are the opportunities that we have. And I weigh the risk versus opportunities, right? How much risk is there to everything that's going on? What are those risks? Normally, healthcare, insurance, housing, right? All of those things are always there. They're always there. Then you have the whole, private credit problem that's going on. To me, I think that's a canary in the coal mine. Right? Because so many things have been removed in terms of guardrails along the banking system that I'm kind of like, ooh. That's the last thing we need. Then on top of that, you have to put the fact that the United States seems to have moved into a bully posture. We bullied Venezuela. While we are at conflict in Iran, we're trying to bully Cuba. Mind you, Iran is not a country that's afraid. So that's a longer position than what's being led on. And I'm still not seeing an opportunity for an off-ramp. I'm seeing that there was an opportunity to meet with President Xi of China and take care of that situation, from a monetary perspective. That's not going to happen. It's going to be pushed back at least a month. I think China was like, yeah, we're not playing with you and your stupid Middle East stuff because our tankers are getting through. They're not hitting Chinese tankers. China's getting their oil, so they don't care. This was not well played. It was not well thought out. So there is a huge question mark. I don't care what you think, if it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing. That does not matter. I could care less. What I do care about is not seeing an off-ramp anytime soon. I heard something interesting where, in a couple of weeks, you're going to have Congress go on vacation for a little bit. And I'm sitting back and I'm kind of going, ooh, that means it can last through that time period before he feels pressure to go to Congress and say, hey, I need you to declare war. There are a lot of reasons why he wants to declare war. A lot of reasons. Most of them just political. There's no reason for the United States to be there. So, truth be told, I don't think we should be there. I don't think that, we should have lost the 140 some odd plus people that have died there so far. It's being reported now. So, yeah, I have a problem with that. I have a massive problem with that. So, putting politics to the side, we're in a conflict that we don't need to be in. We got punked into doing this. No other countries involved. Iran's trying to pull other countries in, but no other country wants a piece of this. None. So Iran's trying to make this as big a deal as possible by hitting as many other countries as humanly possible. It will get worse before it gets better. And because of that, that is not a risk, right? That's now an issue. So you have a risk that's listed, and that risk can cause one issue or multiple issues. This one causes multiple issues with huge ramifications each. So FOMC meeting tomorrow, nobody's expecting them to move anything. That's already factored. They're not moving anything. Up, down, sideways, left, right, north, south, east, west. They're not moving those interest rates. The current regime saying, you got to lower the interest rates now. Why? What reason do you have to lower the interest rates now? What? None. That's the answer. The answer is none. The answer is goose egg. There's no reason whatsoever to lower the interest rates. There's not even enough data out there that points to lower the interest rates. So whoever's saying that now, I kind of sit there and I just kind of go, what do you do for a living? Because you sure as heck don't get up every day the way regular people do that have to worry about gas prices because they've got to get to work. They've got to worry about a whole bunch of stuff because they've got to get to work. They've got to feed their families. They have to have a roof over their head. Nothing about this is good. The combination just doesn't work. We didn't think about this. We did not think this through at all. And that's going to have a huge impact. So that risk list that we have and the impacts and the costs of those impacts, that's what I'm talking about. Now you know why there are 3 huge financial institutions, one of them the largest bank in the United States, saying, nah, we don't agree. We do not agree. Because there are massive risks out there. And they're sitting back and they're trying to calculate and they're kind of like, I don't know. One of my friends texted me last night and he was like, what's going on? I was like, we're headed toward a recession. And he was like, what? I was like, that would be a good thing. Because honestly, all the ingredients are there for a depression, a global depression. A global depression. Think about that. How do you get over global depressions? Yeah. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. But right now, this current regime seems to be on this crazy kick, and they think this is a good idea. And I'm like, there's nothing good about this. There's nothing good about this right now. We're dealing with a massive problem. A massive problem. All because you don't want us looking someplace else. Guess what? We're still looking someplace else. We're still looking at those things. So right now, he's acting as if he's a rat in a corner and he's lashing out. And the world is paying for it. Crypto.com partners with South Korea's KG ISIS to enable crypto payments for 190,000 merchants, mirroring similar initiatives in Bhutan and Thailand, while securing a U.S. bank charter and ISO certification. Yep. Senators Blackburn and Welch demand ByteDance halt C Dance 2.0 release. Why is that? That's the one where they made the video of Tom Cruise fighting Brad Pitt, and it was so realistic that everybody was just like, yeah, Hollywood doesn't want that. Nobody in Hollywood wants that. But that's what that software can do. Wow. Name and likeness issues will abound from that. Meanwhile, you've got XAI facing what could wind up being a class action lawsuit. Why? Oh, because they enabled Grok to be able to produce images of children in precarious situations. Children. Did I mention that ChatGPT is going to go back to that whole erotic thing? Yeah. Really? This is where we're at. And ChatGPT is going to have ads. This is where we're at. As if you didn't, Amazon has now added a fee to their lowest free free layer. Now it's going to cost you money to have Prime Video. Huh? As if you weren't making enough money. You want to know what business is going to take off? Yeah. It's going to be storage companies that are selling storage for the home. And you're going to put all your movies on there. Because when you go and you rent a movie, let me rephrase. If you go and you buy a movie online, read the fine print. It says we have the right to remove that movie from your library whenever we want. But I bought it. What do you mean you get to remove it? What are you talking about? I bought it. It's mine. Nah. It's not. What? So what I think is going to pick up is going to be a whole bunch of software that removes that whole digital rights management piece, so that when you buy a movie, you can download it, keep it on your local, entertainment server, and not have to worry about somebody taking your item away. Imagine going to the store when you were a kid. Imagine going to the store and buying an ice cream cone. And you're walking down the street, minding your business, licking your ice cream cone. Somebody comes up behind you and snatches that cone away from you. And it's the store owner that says, "No, I don't want you to have it anymore. It's mine. I bought it." "No, you didn't read the fine print that says I get to take back that ice cream." What? For what reason? Is it because you only get temporary rights to sell that movie and now you're taking it back? Was good, 305. Don't forget to invest in yourself today. So I have an issue with that. Like I said, meanwhile, these companies are making money hand over fist. Massive, revenue. Huge profits. And here we are having all of that taken away from us. Let me think about that. That sounds insane, doesn't it? But it's happening. It's happening all over the place. Software that you thought was yours, that you bought and paid for, that is timed out on you. Not that it's not being supported, that it gets timed out and it's like, no, you don't have it anymore. To me, that's always been a big racket, right? I upgrade the operating system. You have to upgrade your software. But if I stay with this operating system, if I update the software, it breaks the software on that operating system, and they don't tell you that, and you can't roll it back. You got to go either upgrade the operating system, get a new computer. Yeah, those situations are happening right now. Been happening for decades. So yeah, it's not cool. None of that is cute. OpenSea is delaying its SEA token launch due to market volatility. No. Stop it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to do that either. Let's see. Mocha files for Chapter 7 bankruptcy after losing critical treasury contract, leading to liquidation despite partnerships with Citigroup and Bank of New York Mellon. So Mocha is done. Polymarket bans users for threatening Israeli journalist Emmanuel Fabian over disputed missile strike predictions, with the platform reporting offenders to authorities after the original report was validated. Shouldn't be allowed to bet on that stuff anyway. The gamification of war? Death by conflict? That's what we're betting on? Yeah. We're allowing software to make images of children in precarious situations. We're betting on war and death. Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. Anyway, there's tons more news over on the website. Go check it out. My mind is still blown. I'm sorry, my mind is still blown. But you know what we should do? That's right. Might be easier for me and wake me up a little bit. Let's go check out the numbers. So, get my notes out of the way. We've got Dow futures at 73 points down, S&P futures 12 points down, NASDAQ futures 67.5 points down. Why is that? Because nothing's going on Tuesday. Nothing's going on today. Everybody's holding their breath for tomorrow, for what we already know is the inevitability of no interest rate movement whatsoever. And we're kind of waiting on, well, what's going on? What else is going on in the Middle East? We already know that this current regime and President Xi of China have pushed back their meeting that was supposed to be in April. They've pushed it back at least a month. I say at least a month because, yeah, you can kind of see it coming. You can kind of see a longer delay coming. Why? Because this regime has not figured out how to save face and still get out of Iran. What else do we have? Who's coming out today? Tencent Music Entertainment, Lululemon, DocuSign, Oklo, both of those. Let's see, anybody else I care about right now? Wow. Bob's Discount Furniture. Didn't realize they were that big. $2 billion. Holy moly. Do you not know about Bob's Discount Furniture? It's at $2 billion. Right here. It says it right there. $2 billion. This guy started off... he started off selling furniture in parking lots. Asking for permission to sell furniture in parking lots. And grew from there. It's a $2 billion organization. That's that man's legacy. A $2 billion organization. That's why I care about those numbers. Whether you buy from Bob's or not, companies that are built and founded by people that scrounged to get there, special place. I have a special place in my heart for them because they did it. Guy was doggone near broke. Started off in freaking parking lots. Just saying. Like I said, there's nothing going on today. Pending home sales. Yeah, like I said, nothing going on today. It's all about tomorrow. PPI, FOMC meeting. Tomorrow's going to be big. People are saying, oh, nothing's going to move because they don't have the numbers. And I'm afraid that he's going to be hawkish. What the hell do you mean? You're afraid he's going to be hawkish? Yes, he's going to be hawkish. Well, what else would you expect? What else would you expect except for Powell to be hawkish during this time frame? What's going on right now? A whole bunch of stuff that is outside of his own control. Moving interest rates is not going to do anything to change that. Nothing. Yeah, he's going to be a tad bit hawkish. You have jobs issues out the wazoo. You're not losing low-paying jobs. You're not losing warehouse stacker jobs. You lost those already. You're not losing that. What are you losing? You're losing six-figure office jobs is what you're freaking losing nowadays. When they announce those layoffs, they're not talking about, the mailroom attendants. Lost those years ago. You're losing people that make a lot of money. That's what you're losing. Just saying. Fear and greed index is at 28, was at 23. DeFi Llama, we've got $99.683 billion in total value locked. Yes, it's basically the same since yesterday. Bitcoin is at $73,702 at the moment. It's been a little higher. It was a little higher right there. Right? Was. Just saying. People want their profit when they can get it. I'm not mad about that. And you can see right now, things have pulled back just a tad. We're kind of in a mixed market right now. Am I mad about that? No, not at all. Not at all. I told you yesterday. I told you last night what I was going to do in the middle of the night. I told you guys. I'm going to shave off some profit. Makes sense. I have my holding wallets. I just DCA over there. And over here, I trade. So my trading wallets, yeah, I'm trying to make money. What the hell is wrong with you? I'm trying to do my thing. There's a lot to go on right there. Looking at all this, yeah, you can see where you can make money. You can see where you can make moves. Here, let's take you over to here, to the crypto tracker. Who's down in massive ways? Let's see. Wow. Holy moly. Jaw dropping right now. Pippin down 50.99%. I guess that ship has sailed. Remember, for a couple of days, I was like, I don't know. I got to do some research on Pippin. They seem to be flying high. They just dropped 50.99%. GMB X factor of 4.02. Holy freaking moly. Gonna have to do some research on that. There's got to be news there because the next lowest one is Pi Network, which I have nothing to do with, and it's down 10.24%. Look at that difference. That's an over 40%. Wow. Holy freaking moly. That's insane. So you come all the way down here. Pepe's down 5%. The GMB X factor is 6.47. That's it. That's all I care about over there. On the winner's side, let's see. Zcash up 16.85%. GMB X factor of 10.65. Wow. Artificial Superintelligence Alliance up another 11.57%. GMB X factor of 13.48. Akash Network, I know a couple of people that have that. It's up 8% thereabouts with GMB X factor of 16.15. Fartcoin is up 7.5. GMB X factor of 11.27. Caspa is up 7.35. GMB X factor of 4.84. Who else do we have that I might be paying attention to? That is it. That means everybody else is moving sideways. Everybody else is moving sideways. Pay attention to that. That's a sign. That is an absolute sign. The market doesn't know what's going on right now. And we've got a huge macro event that's affecting us. Huge macro event. The Middle East conflict is way larger than what people think. I keep telling you, Saudi Arabia and UAE used to be friends, and now they're enemies fighting an indirect war in Yemen. And now you have this problem in Iran. Yeah. Massive. The politics over there, incredibly intricate. Grudges and hatred and friendships and semi-friendships and frenemies and enemies. It's a mess. That's why nobody wants to be involved. What is the definition of success? Without a definition of success, you don't know what you're aiming for. If you don't know what you're aiming for, you're wasting time, wasting money, and the worst case, wasting lives. No amount of money can fix that. So right now, I'm just trying to figure out how to protect my bags and those of my kids. It's tough times. It really is tough times. You have all the people up here that have means, have money, talking about, oh, it's great, everything's great, blah, 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 blah. All of us who have to get up every day, who have to worry about prices, that's not what we're saying. Remember what I said, it's a K-shaped economy. A K-shaped economy. And those on the upside are clueless to what's going on the downside. Everybody that's on the downside could care less about what's happening up here because we have our own problems. And they're big, and they're getting bigger. You're going to have to invest in yourself in order to survive. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, hit the hypes and smash the likes. It really helps us reach more people. And I will be back this evening for the overflow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody, have a good one. Bye-bye.